YouTube. It is your boy Dave coming back with another goddamn video. And for today, we're just pretty much going to be doing like real quick reviews, I guess, of games that I'm going to be getting rid of very quickly because I'm going to hit the thrift store today, so might as well. So yeah, I just call this a quick review thing. So without further ado, let's get going. First game is NBA Drive Inside, or NBA 2002 Inside Drive. I said that wrong for some reason. Anywho, I played this a little bit. I can say that it's pretty okay. In fact, I'm not even sure why this is in here. I think if I can remember, this is actually, yeah, this actually was kind of good, so I'm not sure why that was in there. So that's not a bad game. I'm not sure why I put that in there. Anywho, this is a bad game, though. I bought this pretty recently. Spy Games, an elevator mission. Personally, you know, considering it's coming from UFO, which I know them specifically from the Raiden games, or at least Raiden 5 on the 360, this feels like an incredible step down. Like, not only is this game awful, but you can tell how much of a budget title this game really is just by looking at the back of the box. I didn't expect much, but then again, I didn't get much either. Truth be told, the game is pretty much just your bare-bones shooting game, but with logic to that of what... not even Castlevania, I was going to say Wolfenstein, there you go. It feels like if Wolfenstein was made on a modern console, well, modern in the sense of, you know, early to late 2000s, I'd say. But, you know... feels made on that. Well, then again, Wolfenstein was made on 360, so yeah, I'm talking like old school Wolfenstein, but you know what I mean. Yeah, this game is just not good. There's no multiplayer. The controls feel as bad as they can get for a shovelware title. So, if you see this game out in the wild, I wouldn't recommend it. Even though I paid a solid $3 for it, I'm still gonna get rid of it because it's not that worth it, to be honest with you. I played it a couple times, and really, it's just, I was expecting it to be fun trash, but it's really just trash, which is a little disappointing. Next game on the list of games I'm going to get rid of is Too Human. Outside of the controversy that this game has, and outside of all the, you know, hubbub about it, about how, you know, the engine is kind of hard to find and all that, this game is borderline unplayable. Like, I'm not sure what Silicon Knights were smoking when they made this game, but I can assure you it wasn't good ideas. That's as much as I can tell you. It's like it's trying to use something akin to, like, Ape Escape's control scheme, but in Ape Escape it feels more fluid. With this, it feels very rugged. Like, you pick one angle and you go with that angle throughout the entire combo. Like, I feel like if they switched it to just button combos and stuff like that, this game would have worked flawlessly, but it doesn't, so just that point alone makes this game borderline unplayable. That, and it just feels very uninspired. Like, I mean, it is kind of cool that it's, like, cybernetic, but it's also, like, you know, Viking shit, which I thought was kind of cool, but, I mean, the controls and some of the gameplay and just how it feels like it's made from... It feels like it came from an era, like, 2 eras earlier. You know, it feels like it came from the PS1, which, I mean, technically, Too Human started as a PS1 game, so it kind of makes sense why the controls are this clunky, but still, you would think if it's been in development for, like, so fucking long, they'd eventually say, hey, let's actually make the controls good. But no, they didn't, because they're stupid. Yeah. Ooh, boy, here's a gnarly one for ya. Ooh. Cubics, Robots for Everyone Showdown. Now, in the front cover, you'd think this would be like a fighting game or something, which I actually would love if it was a fighting game. I probably wouldn't get rid of it because of just the amusing novelty of a Cubics fighting game. But no, instead, what we have here instead is essentially what it boils down to is rock, paper, scissors, but with Cubics characters. Yeah, it's like it's trying to be Pokemon, but it isn't. But it's also just trying to be rock, paper, scissors. It is... I can only describe it as just being utter garbage as a game, because there's literally nothing to this. Like, even, I've played this maybe a few times, and Tim he's even made a few videos. I dropped the whole thing, I dropped the game, but whatever. It's not like I'm gonna care about this game anyway. It's, going in the gulag. It's going to the thrift store, where eventually somebody can buy it. But, yeah, it is a game I would not recommend, mostly just because it's just not worth playing. Honest to God. Next game we have is Reckless, the Yakuza missions. I know one of my brother's friends gave Vin this game, and honestly, this is one of those games that I wouldn't recommend, mostly because of the fact that it's, in concept, it can be fun, but it's just not very fun. Like, there's a good couple of problems with this game. A lot of them are in the sense that it feels like there's not enough going on, but then there's too much going on. Like, I don't know. This game is, well, that and the game is in that weird void of games where, you know how there are good games and there are bad games? This game is just okay. So, I usually forget that it even exists. So, you know, I wish it was a little better. I wish there was a little bit more fun to be had with it. But it's a pretty forgettable game, truth be told. So, yeah. Unreal 2, The Awakening. I got this game pretty recently, or not recently, I should say, that I got it, you know, as one of the first games for my Xbox. I'm not sure why I said recently, but whatever. I got this, like, at the very get-go of the Xbox, you know, when I got my Xbox at least. And I can say that it's okay as a shooter, but I was expecting it to be more Unreal Tournament. This is more in regards with just the OG Unreal, which you didn't even know existed, because when you think Unreal, you think Unreal Tournament. But Unreal existed before Unreal Tournament, which was like its own single-player shooter. So, yeah. I can say that in concept this game is cool, but in reality, I mean, when you have stuff like Unreal Tournament, 2 or 3, I think, for the Xbox, and stuff like that, and when you have other games like Halo and all that, it makes this sort of not worth getting, you know. That and it's only okay, and I don't know, I'm just not a fan of just okay games, especially for this. Next game we have on the list is Cabela's Dangerous Hunt 2011. Now, there's a big reason why I wanted to get this game. See, I got this at I believe it was not an auction, but what's the one thing where you sell something, but it's like inside of a whole house? What the fuck do they call those things? Shit. An estate sale, there we go. I got it from an estate sale because I was curious, because they had just a whole bunch of VHS and just a bunch of random crap strewn about. And I seen this, and I was like, hey, look, it's a game. So I grabbed it, and I wanted to see what it is, because I've been looking for a singular hunting game for the GameCube. I believe it's like either Dangerous Hunt or Big Game. I forget which one it is specifically. But I remember fondly, it was one of those Cabela games where you could drive a car. So I was curious to see what this one was. And lo and behold, it is a light gun shooter. Now, there's a big problem with light gun shooters on systems that aren't the Wii, and that particularly is because the Wii is almost, you know, it uses motion controls 100% of the time, which means that if you have a game that uses motion controls, they're going to be easier to play. While something like this, you're going to need to have an adapter and something else to play it. I mean, truth be told, there is modes where you don't need to use it, but it just sort of loses the fun. And also, I'm just going to say it's not really worth keeping, you know, unless it's like something that's like the best, in my opinion. Oh god, this one is just abysmal beyond all belief. Okay. See, this one, I don't even know how you say that. Repulpas? I think that's how you say it. Fuck it. I don't really give a shit. Fishing Frenzy. You know, I can say that this game, it looks cartoony. It looks like it's gonna be dumb fun. Like, it's gonna be like, you know, arcadey fun, like where you're just, you know, fishing, and it's like some guy's like, yeah, you know, stuff like that. I was hoping for that. I really was. But instead, what we get is a game that's more realistic simulation fishing, which, I mean, like, if we're going to be talking fishing games, I am a big fan of, like, Mark Davis's Pro Bass Challenge. No irony on that. Mostly because that is a solid fishing game with good mechanics and all that. This, my friend, is not that, because, see, the box is like clickbait. You look at the box and you're like, hey, look, this looks fun. You flip to the back of the box, and it's more realistic fishing, which, if I was in the mood to play, like, simulation fishing, I wouldn't have got this. You know, and also you have to realize that this is on the Wii, so you have to waggle for fucking everything, which is a horrible fucking idea in concept, because you're going to be like, here's the problem. The controls feel like they barely work, which means that this game just feels like it's barely running. I think the only thing you really have any actual control over is the menus. Yeah. Speaking of barely having any control over, Wii Music. This game feels more like a fever dream than an actual video game. In my humble opinion, I feel like whoever came up with this really has to, like, they probably feel like an idiot at this point, especially considering that on E3 you had that one dude just, like, sweaty as hell, swacking both arms and trying to do the drum thing. Still remember that. I think that's, like, going to be the one thing that everyone remembers from this. Yeah, the sticker from it, where I bought it from, I think, Half Price Books. Good couple of these games I bought them the same day, but, Wii Music I bought out of curiosity, because I've always been curious about how bad Wii Music is, and I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, it's bad. It is very bad. If you're looking for, like, a game to make music, I would say Guitar Hero 5 on the Wii, particularly because you can make your own MIDIs, which I thought was kind of cool. But aside from that, this isn't recommended at all. I would say that if you're looking for, like, maybe, yeah, there's just nothing to really recommend for Wii Music. It's just, if you see it, avoid it. Next game, Rainbow Six Lockdown. Now, I know that a lot of people say, you know, they love Rainbow Six. There are people that enjoy it. Me, on the other hand, I'm a simple man. If we're talking, like, the PS2, 360, or PS2, Xbox, and GameCube era, I'm going to be going with, like, Medal of Honor or something from my standard issue military shooter of that decade, or that era. Because this just seems okay. Seems very forgettable. There's nothing that really sticks out to me, nothing that's satisfying, and for the most part, I don't even think this game is multiplayer. I think this game only had online multiplayer, which means that it's not really that fun. I mean, for me personally, if you're going to have a shooter like this, you want to have some sort of 4-player multiplayer, and one of the bigger problems with the PS2 is that although there was a multi-tap, not many games actually utilized it. I mean, most of them would only allow 2 players, which means that games like Medal of Honor Frontline, let's just go on this little tangent, Medal of Honor Frontline on both the digital and physical versions, you know, if you got Medal of Honor, yeah, just the remake of Medal of Honor they made in, 2013 or so, the limited edition version that gave you Medal of Honor Frontline, they only gave you the single player, none of the multiplayer. And the digital version does the exact same thing. And I realized why now, because they're directly using the PS2 port, which took out the multiplayer entirely. Which I can say is a load of bullshit. So, yeah. Not really a fan of that. Next game we have is one that probably someone's a fan of, probably. Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. I can say personally that in concept it seems like a fun game, but for me personally, I just can't really get into this kind of stuff. I was expecting it to be more like the other one, where it's pretty much like, I think you start off as Gandalf and you're just beating the shit out of everything. I don't know, I think it was more in a reminiscence to, like, Dynasty Warriors, but that was before I knew about Dynasty Warriors, so it's still kind of interesting, but yeah, this one just seems okay. Nothing I would really go back and play. So I think because of that, I will just put it and donate it. So yeah, aside from that, we have ourselves a hearty amount of games that are going to be donated today. And yeah, see you later.